The UConn women begin their postseason today. The men close out the regular season, and hockey is front and center on today's jam-packed edition of Locked On UConn.
You are Locked On UConn, your daily podcast on the UConn Huskies, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Happy weekend and welcome back to another episode of Locked On UConn. I am Matt Schonvisky, a two-time graduate, 10-year credentialed media member, and host of the only daily UConn sports podcast, Locked On UConn, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, the number one sports podcast network in the world. Please hit the like and subscribe button, and thank you for making this your first listen each and every single day. On today's show, the women are down at Mohegan, and we'll tip off the Big East tournament today at noon against Georgetown. I'll have a full preview of that game then. The men close their regular season out at Marquette. Why UConn will have a share of the Big East regular season title when that game is over. And finally, women's hockey hosts the Hockey East Championship this afternoon at Toscano. We'll preview that game. And the men's hockey program also closes their regular season today at number 5 Providence. We've got a lot going on. But first, today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. FanDuel is giving you a way to turn that energy into even bigger potential wins with a college basketball parlay profit boost. Head to FanDuel.com to get started. So 31-0 regular season for the UConn women. And they begin their postseason today down at Mohegan Sun at noon, Georgetown, Peacock, NBC Sports Network. You can find the game. This has been, we recapped the regular season earlier this week. This has been a spectacular year across the board, led by Sarah Strong, led by Azzi Fudd. And now, tournament play. And now the team seems to be healthy. And now it's time to really shine and put a mark and do some things that only a select few teams have ever done here at UConn. And it starts, obviously, with the Big East tournament. Starts today at noon against Georgetown, who earned their way into the quarterfinals yesterday with a 62-58 win over Butler. It was a comeback win because Georgetown was down 30-23 at the half before they excelled and found their way to the lead in the third quarter and then put the game away late. So Georgetown comes in off that win, 14-16 now on the year, 6-14 in the Big East. Last time these two teams played was just 2 games ago in the regular season. UConn won that game 84-52 down in D.C., Azzi Fudd's last game in the D.C. area. UConn won at home by 41 points earlier this season, 83-42. Let's recap those two matchups. Halftime of the first game. $51-20 at the half. Sarah Strong led the way with 21 points, 8 rebounds, 5 assists. She was spectacular in that game. 10-17 from the field. Also had 4 steals. Also had a block. And Azzi Fudd had 19 points, 6 rebounds, 5 assists, 2 steals, and a block. I mean, these players always fill up the stat sheets. Sarah Williams had one of her stronger games on the offensive side from a point perspective with 12 points that day. That game made UConn 20-0 on the year. That first game was the one down at DC. The second game, the 32-point win, a couple games ago, was here at home. 84-52. And that game saw UConn, it was 21-20 after one, but then UConn really stepped on it in the second quarter and won that quarter 27-5. And Azzi Fudd led the way that day with 24 points. Well, Sarah Strong was still trying to figure things out coming off a stretch where she missed some time. She finished with 13 points in 23 minutes. 11 rebounds, 7 assists. 1 steal, 1 block. Blanca had her first double-digit performance since coming back from injury, 10 points that day. Ashlyn Shade had 12. Heckel had 11. So they got a lot of scoring from multiple places. But the thing is, in that game, this last game, again, I mentioned the first quarter, 21-20. And in the fourth quarter, it was 14-14. So it's 35-34 for 2 of those quarters. 22-13 in the third, but it was really that second quarter that set this game apart. So what to expect today? Clearly, I expect UConn to win. Clearly, I expect it to be 25-30 plus. Now, Georgetown's in their postseason, coming off a win, want to ride some momentum. Might be competitive early on, like we saw in Hartford when it was 21-20 after that first quarter. But overall, I mean, what can you say? Things I want to focus on: health. I want to make sure this team is playing together and everyone is now back in a rhythm after missing some time earlier this year. Be watching Sarah Strong, obviously. Be watching Azzi. We'll be watching Blanca. And how this team gels and plays together. Because they've gone through some stretches here where they have been missing time, certain key players, like Sarah Strong, like Blanca. And I want to see how those units, that starting unit, and the bench, and the rotations, just like we talked about on the men's side earlier this season. I want to see how things are progressing, make sure everybody's healthy. And I think that's the key focus here in the Big East tournament for Geno and his coaching staff, is to get comfortable, get a rhythm going with this team, and make sure you're now starting to peak again as you look ahead to NCAA tournament time. And leading into this tournament, obviously with the regular season closed, the conference announced their awards, end-of-year awards. No surprise, Sarah Strong, Big East Player of the Year. And Defensive Player of the Year. We've talked nonstop about how she's such an impactful player on both sides of the court, especially on the defensive end. Very well-deserved award for her, Defensive Player of the Year. And I think maybe that might be one that this coaching staff views in higher regard, even more so than Player of the Year, just given what impact that has. And we've talked about how the UConn defense and the amount of pressure and the aggressiveness and how they speed up other opponents leads to a number of turnovers. We saw 39 turnovers in a game earlier this season. It's because of plays and players like Sarah Strong. Blanca Quinones, Freshman of the Year, 6th Woman of the Year as well. And then Geno brought home Big East Coach of the Year. So UConn, of course, all over the awards with 5 of those announcements. Player of the Year, Defensive Player of the Year, Freshman of the Year, 6th Woman of the Year, Coach of the Year. No doubt about it. And then first team. KK, Azzi, Sarah Strong on the first team. Second team, Blanca. Honorable mention, Ashlyn Shade. The all-defensive team, Sarah Strong, KK Arnold. And then Blanca's on the all-freshman team. So top to bottom, the UConn women were all over the awards for 25-26. No surprise. No surprise at all. So the tournament starts for the women today, noon. We'll come back post-game. Women are playing at noon. Men are playing at 12:30. We'll probably come back with maybe a dual post-game today. It depends how the games flow. Maybe we'll check in at halftime of each. Keep an eye out for that on social media. Maybe hop on for 2 minutes, just give a quick summary of the halves. And then full breakdowns post-game as well. I think I'll probably be up on campus today for the Women's Hockey's Championship, so I'll be taking that in. We'll probably have a live report there and then also come back post-game because, listen, hockey, we're going to talk about it in the third segment. You're going to see that as well. But on the other side, we will first be previewing the men's regular season finale out at Marquette. They have an opportunity to take home a share of the Big East crown. We'll talk about that after the break. College basketball is nonstop. Big games, tight spreads, momentum swings every single night. From early tip-offs to late-night West Coast shootouts, there's always action on the board. And now FanDuel is giving you a way to turn that energy into even bigger potential wins with a college basketball parlay profit boost. You could build any college hoops parlay you want. Rivalry games, ranked matchups, whatever fits. You can mix spreads, totals, and player props to match how you see the slate playing out. Then you can apply the profit boost and instantly bump up the potential payout. Go safe, go bold, ride with the team you've been following all season. It's your parlay, your style, now with more upside behind it. Head to FanDuel.com to get started. That's FanDuel.com. FanDuel, play your game. Today's episode is also brought to you by TurboTax. It's tax time for a lot of us. The old way of doing taxes is a lot. Trying to book an appointment, that's not the most convenient. Sitting in a waiting room with a stack of papers, emailing back and forth, and wondering if they really get your situation. But this year, you're getting a major upgrade. Intuit TurboTax now has in-person locations nationwide. You can meet face-to-face with a real tax expert, and your documents get uploaded straight to your TurboTax app on the spot. Just like that, you're done. Well, TurboTax expert works to get you every dollar you deserve, while you get real-time notifications as you go about your day. It's the relief of walking in and meeting a real person and walking out knowing your taxes are being handled right. Head to TurboTax.com/local to find a store near you and book your appointment. Again, TurboTax.com/local to find a store near you and book your appointment today. Back in on Locked On UConn, and we are now switching gears to the men's side of the hardwood as UConn has an opportunity to take home a share of the Big East crown. Last night, St. John's came out on top at Seton Hall, which means UConn can now only get a share of the title. 72-65, St. John's took down Seton Hall on the road. Seton Hall obviously was trying to make some noise again, just like they almost did at UConn. They could not close out the Red Storm. They could not really get a hold of that game as Seton Hall, number 18 Seton Hall, came away with the victory and clinched a share of the Big East title. So today's game in Marquette, I think, listen, UConn's got some things to play for. Those things that they want to accomplish, that whole list, that trophy that Dan Hurley carries around. Plane ride to plane ride. Road game to road game. Every practice. In the locker room. They have a chance to capture it today. So 27-3, 17-2 in conference. They have an opportunity to close the deal and win a share of the Big East regular season title. St. John's would be the 1 seed. It's fine. I'm not worried about it. Give me that title. That's what I'm most concerned about. Trophies. I don't care about 1 seed. I don't care about 2 seed. You win a conference share of the title, you get the trophy. And I think this speaks to the run that this program's on and Dan Hurley and what this team is trying to accomplish. And I think they want to check the boxes. So Marquette comes in 11-19, 6-13 in the Big East. This team this year has not gone well. It has just not gone well. Now, they're coming in riding high. They've won 2 of 3. They had a 16-point win at Georgetown. They lost at home to DePaul, and then they absolutely blew out Providence, who I know is going to be undergoing a coaching change, and there's rumors around. But 78-56 in Providence's final home game of the year? Marquette came in and kind of pushed Providence around. Stevens led the way with 21 points in that game. And then Chase Ross didn't have really a great game. He always seems to show up against UConn, though. So that's somebody I'm watching today, obviously. He's a lefty that can get to the rim, can also hit some threes from the outside. I do like his game. So I think he could be a factor today. But Stevens had 21 points in 8 of 12, and then Nigel James had 20 points in 7 of 16. And if we look back to the matchup between these two teams earlier this year, it was a 16-point win for the Huskies, 73-57. Huskies were up by 8 at the half before closing the door and winning by 16. In that game, James had 15, Ross had 11, didn't hit a 3 against the Huskies in the first game, and James was 5 of 18. So he took 18 shots to get 15 points. I think this was one of the, if you look back, outside of St. John's, this might have been the best conference game defensive performance by the Huskies to really shut them down because they held Marquette to 32% from the field that day, 21% from 3. It's a great showing by UConn when these two met earlier this season at Gamble. So the rematch is today. A lot on the line. I know Dan Hurley's looking forward to lifting a trophy at the end of today's matchup. To me, just like the women's side, I want to see a healthy team. I think there's rumors going around, hey, Jaylen Stewart may have been had crutches. TBD on that. We were up on campus and we saw him, and we're not going to share anything here on the show, but the media said that they did see crutches when they were around the team for interviews leading into this game on Thursday, I think it was. TBD. He's still dealing with something, clearly. So he's probably going to be out today, I would imagine, if that's the case, which is unfortunate because I want to see this team full strength as we get into tournament time. But that's just speculation. We'll see what the injury report comes out as later this morning, and we'll see what transpires during the game, what the bench rotation looks like, all that sort of thing. But I think today is all about UConn. Come out, dictate tempo, dictate your performance, play strong defensively. Terrace Reed, once again, be a presence in the paint, hit the glass, and I think this team will be fine. I think Marquette's going to be coming in off that big win at Providence, thinking that, hey, they're probably riding high a little bit. They're going to be confident. So take care of the first 5 minutes. Let the game settle in. If UConn has a good start, I mean, that's going to go a long way in this game. Don't let them hang around, though, because we don't want that for obvious reasons. But I think it's all about UConn today. It's all about UConn today, taking care of inferior opponents because we're now going to be in tournament time. You got to take care of business as you close the regular season. And I think they will. I mean, the eye on the prize, we talked about the trophy that travels with this team. They have a chance to get it today. I think the motivation is going to be there. How this team looks offensively, I want to see rhythm. I want to see Mullins shooting well. I want to see solo ball playing within the offense. I want to see Silas Demery penetrating, taking what comes to him, being aggressive where he needs to be, but also getting a feel for the game and distributing. And then Terrace Reed, I want to see a continuation of what we've seen to close the year here. Aggressiveness, want to, putting in the effort, both offensively, defensively, on the glass. So, I mean, that's just what I'm looking for today. As with the women, I'll probably try to hop on for a quick halftime report, throw that up on social media channels, and then be back. It might be a dual post game later today. It might be men's post game, women's post game. I also mentioned I am heading up to the women's hockey's championship. So it's probably going to be later today that we get a full summary. And maybe we'll have a full breakdown of the hockey's championship in those post games as well, since I will be there on site. And after the break, we will preview the close of the regular season for the men's hockey program, as well as the hockey's championship for the women, which will be at Toscano later this afternoon at 3:30. And we'll preview that after the break. Just a reminder, you can get Locked On UConn ad-free with the Everydayer Club. Plus, members-only Discord access. Join at lockedonucon.supercast.com. Again, join at lockedonucon.supercast.com. And today's episode is brought to you by Indeed. Workplace chaos, deadlines stacking up, inbox overflowing in the one position you have to fill. sitting open. When the pressure's on and you need the right hire, this is a job for sponsored jobs. Indeed Sponsored Jobs helps you reach the people who actually fit what you're looking for: skills, experience, location. So you're not just hoping the right candidate stumbles across your post. And here's a stat that says it all. In the minute I have been talking to you, companies like yours made 27 hires on Indeed, according to Indeed data worldwide. Spend less time searching and more time actually interviewing candidates who check all your boxes. Less stress, less time, more results. When you need the right person to cut through the chaos, this is a job for Indeed Sponsored Jobs. And listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit to help get your job the premium status it deserves at Indeed.com/podcast. Just go to Indeed.com/podcast right now and support our show by saying you heard about Indeed on this podcast. Indeed.com/podcast. Terms and conditions apply. Need to hire? This is a job for Indeed Sponsored Jobs. Today's episode is also brought to you by 5 Hour Energy. Welcome to the 5 Hour Energy Flavor Draft, with 18 different flavors to choose from, including new options like Confetti Craze, Fruity Rainbow, or Cotton Candy. There's something for everyone. The board is set, the flavors are ready, and I've got my number one pick for the 5 Hour Energy Flavor Draft. It's once again Tropical Burst. Tropical Burst is tasty caffeine with island vibes. It has a delicious combination of pineapple and apricot flavors. It's juicy. It has a fruit forward tropical profile. It's sweet with a light tang. Also smooth, has a rounded flavor. It's bright and sunny taste impression. It's an island-style fruit punch vibe. Let's be honest, this has been a long winter here in the state of Connecticut. Why not get a taste of the tropics with 5 Hour Energy's Tropical Burst, giving you an extra push during the long work week grind. 5 Hour Energy shots give you a boost with zero sugar. Find your new favorite flavor of 5 Hour Energy shots available online at 5hourenergy.com or on Amazon. Again, find your new favorite flavor of 5 Hour Energy shots available online at 5hourenergy.com or on Amazon. Back in for our final segment here on this early weekend edition of Locked On UConn, and we're switching gears to UConn hockey because these two programs, and we talked a little about this with David Benedict earlier this week. Their interview aired yesterday. The hockey programs are absolutely excelling. And it's happening at a time very soon after building Toscano, the ice rink on campus, which will once again host the Hockey East title game. And we're going to start with the women because it is the postseason championship. It is an automatic trip to the NCAA tournament. Now, will UConn make the NCAA tournament if they drop the game today to Northeastern? I think yes. I think there's no doubt about it. Because UConn right now is ranked, I believe, number 6 in the nation. They are second in Hockey East, right behind Northeastern. And I think that UConn's going to be making this tournament regardless. So regardless of the result today, I do expect the UConn women to be in the NCAA tournament. But today it's a chance to go in, just like the men on the basketball side, have a chance to grab a trophy. I think this prize is something that this coaching staff is looking to do. Because you work all season long. You work to get to a point where you have a chance to go against your rival for a conference championship. And what this hockey program has done over the last couple of years to get to a place where they're competing year in and year out for titles, where they're competing year in and year out in the NCAA tournament. I think it just speaks to what this program has done and how Toscano has helped with the development of the program and made it a marquee place to be under the leadership of Chris McKenzie. Just the transformation that's happened here has been, it's been great. And now today they host number 1 Northeastern for the title. What to watch for if you've never been to a women's hockey game, if you want to check it out. Tia Chan is front and center. a key for this team. She's in goal. She's a top 10 finalist for the Patty Kazmaier Memorial Award, top player in hockey. So you could say this team is led by their goalkeeper, Tia Chan. The only goaltender in the nation to be on the list. This is our last time going to be playing in Toscano. Unless UConn hosts in the NCAA tournament. That could happen. But she's recorded the most wins in program history. She's got 25 wins on the year. Before that, the previous high was only 18. So Chan has dwarfed the all-time single-season wins record here at UConn. She's also got the most saves in the season with 985 saves this year. The bigger thing, though, her save percentage. Almost 95%, which will break the single-season saves percentage record if she could stay above 94.4. Right now, she's 94.8. Has a chance to be the top save percentage goalkeeper in UConn history as well. Nationally, she's the third in save percentage, sixth in goals against average, sixth in goalie winning percentage, and eighth in shutouts nationally. Those stats are why she's the only goalkeeper in the nation to be a top 10 award candidate for National Player of the Year in women's hockey. And for UConn women's hockey to have a National Player of the Year candidate, listen, I remember being at UConn when they were playing in the old arena. They weren't really competitive back then at all. And now year in, year out, they're here, top of the conference under Chris McKenzie. And producing players like Tia Chan. So keep an eye out for that. I think the puck drops at 3:30 on campus. There's probably some tickets still available. It's an affordable way to go spend some time up on campus, check out the UConn women's hockey program, especially for those that just coming off the Olympics and just taking in women's hockey maybe for the first time. Go see some of the athletes here at UConn because I think they deserve some of our attention, just given the performance. They're ranked 6th in the nation. Tia Chan could be player of the year. I mean, it's worth checking out. And your Huskies could take home yet another trophy and an automatic bid into the NCAA tournament. So make it a nice environment if you're going to be there. On the men's side, switching gears to the men. They close the regular season at Providence later today. It's a monumental matchup as the teams close the regular season because Providence is number 5, UConn is number 14. Listen, UConn's battling for seeding here. And I think you want to be a higher seed here for Hockey East. Obviously, you want to be able to host, maybe get a bye. UConn has a chance to be in the top 2. This game will be on Nesson today. So if you want to check it out, it's not going to be streaming. It will be on Nesson for those, as well as ESPN+. But for those that want to check out on regular cable, it will be on Nesson. Top matchups today in Hockey East. Number 5 versus number 14. UConn, Boston College, and UMass are all fighting for the 2, 3, and 4 seeds in the Hockey East standings and seeding in the Hockey East tournament, which will kick off in this coming week. The UConn-Providence matchup, this is a rivalry that's starting to build and continuing to grow. UConn comes in off a 4-1 win over New Hampshire earlier this week. But for this game, it's the third time UConn-Providence have played. Providence won in stores at Toscano 4-1 earlier this year. And UConn also followed that up with a 3-3 tie. And got the shootout win. So Huskies came out on top one game. Providence came out on top the other. It's a huge game. Huge game for seeding for the NCAA tournament. Huge game for seeding for the Hockey East tournament. So we'll see how things play out. just like on the women's side, UConn does have a strong goaltender, right? Strong goaltending always usually leads to strong hockey programs and hockey seasons. Tyler Muszelik has been one of those. He's 17, 8, and 5 on the year, 92.9 save percentage, 2.17 goals against average. He's on the Mike Richter watch list for best goaltender in the nation. So he's going to be a key in this game. So we'll see what transpires there. And then Ryan Tattle, I don't know if you've heard this story. We're going to try to get him on the show because he's up for the Hockey Humanitarian Award for some work that he did with cancer and cancer research and what he's done to raise money for cancer research. $180,000 to date. And I think it deserves some publicity. So we're going to reach out to UConn. We're going to try to get Ryan on the show here, maybe even ahead of Hockey East tournament, maybe as a preview heading into that tournament. UConn is probably going to be hosting here, so we'll have a lot of coverage of hockey as we move here over the next week or so as well. So it's going to be jam-packed. Long story short here, men have a chance to make an impact and get the number 2 seed in the Hockey East tournament. That would be absolutely huge. The women looking to bring home a title, looking to bring home a trophy. The men on the basketball court looking to bring home a trophy. There's multiple trophies, too, that can be won today. It's a huge day in stores. Huge day at UConn. Huge day for David Benedict and what he's done for this athletic department. But this is the time of year. This is where things really matter. Men looking to bring home the regular season title. Women's hockey looking to bring the Hockey East Championship home. The women begin Big East tournament play on the road to Monday night, which would be the Big East tournament championship game. And then the men's hockey program trying to position themselves. So we will have full post-game coverage later today. Keep an eye out for that. No doubt about it. But that's it for today's episode of Locked On UConn. Thanks for tuning in. Make sure you subscribe and follow on all Locked On UConn social media sites so you get all the latest episodes and news. And listen, I'm going to be posting a lot of football videos from player interviews from earlier this week on social media, on YouTube. There'll be short versions. We're also going to be incorporating a lot more football for you football fans throughout the spring here, and a full recap still of Jason Candle and some of the players from Thursday. If you never miss an episode, the Everydayer Club is built for you. Get Locked On UConn ad-free, plus members-only Discord access, and much more. Head to lockedonuconn.supercast.com. Again, lockedonuconn.supercast.com. That's it for today's show. We'll be back later today. Until then, see ya!